This is Ferris. After his first term in a competitive school in Egypt, he received a grade of 60%. He decided to change his entire approach by sheer force of will. He committed to 6 full hours of study every single night, from 6 p.m. until midnight. After a full term of this intense schedule, his grade dropped to 50%. Why did doubling the hours spent at his desk result in a 10% decline in performance? Ferris failed because he ignored the 2 primary constraints of human biology: the hard limit of the adult attention span and the natural rate of memory decay. When you exceed these limits, the brain stops absorbing data, regardless of how many hours you remain in your chair. The first constraint is attention. Data suggests that for the average adult, high-level concentration is a finite resource that depletes rapidly. This chart tracks focus over time. You start with peak clarity, but at the 30-minute mark, your concentration plunges. For Ferris, sitting 6 hours straight was grim. His focus flatlined, meaning 5.5 hours were spent in cognitive exhaustion. Francesco Cirillo's Pomodoro technique exploits this 30-minute window. It requires 30 minutes of deep focus, followed by a mandatory 5-minute break. Taking that small window to step away resets the biological clock, immediately spiking concentration back to its peak. By engineering these brief recovery periods into a schedule, a student maintains a higher net focus over a long evening than they would during a continuous marathon. Maintaining focus is only half the battle. The brain also actively purges new information to maintain efficiency. Hermann Ebbinghaus mapped this process with the forgetting curve. It shows that within just 6 days of learning something new, our retention drops from 100% down to 20%. This means a lesson Ferris mastered on Sunday was essentially erased from his mind by the following Saturday. To counter this, we use spaced repetition, reviewing information at specific intervals to interrupt the forgetting process. By reviewing after 1 day, 3 days, and 1 week, you hack the curve. Each review makes the subsequent decay much slower. Repeating the information at these specific intervals can preserve a memory for months or even years. Successful long-term retention requires patching these biological leaks systematically before the information is lost. If a student tries to apply this repetition schedule to every single paragraph in a 500-page textbook, the system collapses. Within 3 weeks, the daily review pile would require 8 to 10 hours of maintenance before any new material could be studied. To make the system work, you have to separate concepts from information. A concept is the underlying logic, like the steps of a mathematical proof or the physiological cause of a disease. These require deep initial understanding, but once the logic clicks, it doesn't need to be memorized via rote repetition. Information refers to the isolated facts, the final formula, the specific dates, or the medical symptoms. These are the volatile data points that require the spaced repetition cycle shown here. Filtering your material this way reduces the amount of data you need to actively memorize by over 80%, making the repetition schedule manageable. High-efficiency learning is the result of combining these 3 strategies: 30-minute focus blocks, spaced review intervals, and selective memorization. You can automate the scheduling of these reviews using digital flashcard software like Anki. The software's algorithm tracks the Ebbinghaus intervals for every card you create, presenting them for review at the exact moment your brain is likely to forget them. Utilizing these tools allows you to manage your study time as a system, rather than relying on the exhausting and often ineffective application of raw effort. Superior academic performance is achieved by the student who aligns their study habits with the biological realities of focus and memory.